And we all known for the longest time that video games don't necessarily translate well to the big screen. I mean, we can even look at the most recent examples like Resident Evil on Netflix and of course Paramount Plus's the Halo series, where they really just kind of butchered the character of Master Chief. So when it comes to The Last of Us now on HBO Max, does it follow the same trend that we have seen time and time again with such properties as Halo and Resident Evil, just to name a small few? Or does The Last of Us do something that's different and finally pay respect to the source material? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel once again. I just got done watching the very first episode of The Last of Us on HBO Max and kind of give you my own backstory with the Last of Us franchise. I am a big fan of the first game. Absolutely loved the first game, played it on the PS3 when it first came out, then picked up the remastered version on the PS4, played the PS5 updated version of the remastered version of the PS4. No, I did not pick up the PS5 version because I'm not paying $70 for the same exact game over again. But I digress. So I'm a semi-casual fan of The Last of Us. I know the source material. I played the game. I didn't play the second one, but I have watched people on Twitch play throughout the second one. When it came to this show, I automatically had a feeling that this was going to be much different than other video game properties, just for the fact that it's on HBO. Because HBO has a fantastic track record of doing great TV series. Like, HBO is the king of TV series. And then when you take the guy who directed Chernobyl, if you have not seen Chernobyl on HBO, I highly recommend it. It's a very, very great mini series. One of the best things that hit TV the year it came out, and I really love Chernobyl a lot. So when you pair that with The Last of Us and you pair that with HBO, you're like, man, this could be something special. But does The Last of Us fall into the same tropes as other video game properties? Let's be honest, guys. We haven't had the best track record of video game properties. We're talking about Tomb Raider, Resident Evil is like the king. Like, they just don't seem to get that right no matter how many movies or how many series they do. They just don't seem to get that right. They take video game properties and they make them silly. They make them cheesy. And I don't think they really understand that video games can be something important. And I think with the first episode of Last of Us, we see that they're really taking the source material of this game and they're really doing something special and paying a lot of respect to the source material. Where you look at something like Halo on Paramount Plus, as a huge Halo fan, that was a massive letdown. It's like they didn't understand who Master Chief was. They spent so much time trying to humanize this character to get us, the viewers, to relate to the character, that they really missed the boat on what Halo is and what makes Halo so special. But when it comes to The Last of Us, from the get-go, you see that they're really paying a lot of respect to this. They really have a great opening. They dive deeper into the story of what's going on with Joel in the beginning of this episode, and they really kind of take the story that was laid out in the video game and they expand upon that. It's great to expand upon the lore as long as you're paying respect to what came prior to that. And I think that's where a lot of these properties kind of miss. And luckily for us, we have a showrunner like Greg Mazin who knows how to put together compelling TV series. And of course, you have Neil Druckmann, whether you like him or hate him or whatever your thoughts are, at least he's hands-on in the project of this series. With those two combined, you get something very, very special. Now, judging this episode just on the merits of the episode and not really doing a side-by-side comparison to the video game, I think this episode is a really good start to what could possibly be a great series. And what I mean by that is it's an episode that establishes the characters, and it establishes how a fungus can turn into some kind of sickness that can turn humanity into these zombie-like creatures. And I really thought that was one of my most highlighted things about this episode, was they start off with a very, very cold open where they explain how something like this could kill billions of people and how something like this could actually happen and form within humanity. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic. You have Pedro Pascal playing Joel and Bella Ramsey playing Ellie, and Pedro Pascal is pretty much everywhere nowadays. And I think he's a fantastic Joel. We really get to, dive into his psyche. You see what he had to deal with in the beginning of the episode and where he is 20 years later. We didn't get a whole lot of Ellie in this episode, but that's because we're starting this thing up. We're building up to what's going on, and we really had to establish Joel as that central main character slash father figure of the series to come. So we're definitely going to get more of Ellie as the episodes go on, but overall in this episode, as a video game property, I think this is something that people who are fans of the game are going to love because they're showing respect. And I think people who never played the video game is going to jump on and just watch it as a great science fiction drama. And that's what I like about it. You can have your cake and eat it too. You can please the fans and also please newcomers without having to change everything drastically to try to appeal to a larger demographic that doesn't know anything about the games. And I think that's a lot of the problem that studios seem to have when they're trying to adapt these video game properties to a larger audience. They don't know how to be faithful to the source material yet appeal to a larger audience, and that's why most of them, if not all of them, fail. So first episode of Last of Us, I think, is a very, very great high note, great starting point. Can't wait to see where it goes from here. But I want to know what you guys think. Have you seen the first episode? What are your thoughts? Leave those comments in the comment box below. And until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.